Mame fa na se ma PENDREAM TV. PENDREAM TV de osia dem yopo.
His able deputy minister is here, and by consensus we'll give him the floor. He has already taken the designated seat, and I will call on Honorable Sanja Nanja.
Growing farmers, those are the beneficiaries. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Any further question?
Mr. Speaker, no other further question except to thank the Minister for his comprehensive answers.
Yes, honorable members, this is urgent constituency specific question. On this note, yes.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Speaker, if you look at the last part of the question, it says farmers did not get market for last year's harvest. So I want to find out from the Honorable Minister whether they are putting any arrangements in place to compensate farmers who did not get market for their produce.
Yes.
Mr. Speaker, the minister didn't say that. It is the person asking the question who said that. The person asking the question, he is alleging that farmers didn't get, patronage for. I'm saying that the person asking the question is the one alleging that farmers did not get patronage for their produce last year. So you cannot ask the minister that question. That's my position on the matter.
Speaker, the leader should hasten cautiously. There is nowhere in the orders that permit him to stand instead of the minister. The question is directed at the minister. Speaker, he has no locus.
You can state that, I'm shielding minister, so that immediately we finish, your social media handlers will put out all sorts of videos out there suggesting that the ministers who appear are not capable. The minister is actually begging me to allow him to answer the question. But I'm saying that if we start breaching the rules today, tomorrow we will have to continue breaching the rules. I know of several instances where in this chamber the speaker has insisted that supplementary questions must flow from the original answers given by the minister. So my argument is that there's an allegation made by somebody asking a question. Now you are assuming that that is a fact, and you are now proceeding on that assumption to ask the minister a question. I'm saying that the minister didn't make that statement. He didn't say that, farmers are not getting market for their produce. So why are you asking him a follow-up question?
Only object where any of the orders have been breached. Speaker, from order 89 to all the way to 88, none of those provisions have been breached. He should please allow the minister to answer, and the minister is eager.
Honorable
the minister
members,
is ready to answer the question.
Is anything about this question talking about compensation?
Speaker, I'm not in the position to respectfully answer your question. But I'm only.
We all owe fidelity to the standing orders. So
Speaker,
if you ask a supplementary question, which supplementary question does not emanate from the original question as stated in Standing Order 89-1, any member at all can object.
Speaker, if you may listen to me. In the first place, the member who sought to ask a follow-up question, I was surprised you allowed him anyway, because I had a couple of questions to ask, but I thought it was constituency specific.
I indeed indicated that
Yes.
this is a constituency specific.
Speaker, but you permitted him.
But knowing his position
Yes.
as the ranking member
Yes.
also
Yes.
on food and agriculture, I
Yes.
choose to give him the floor to ask the question.
Speaker,
But the question that I asked There is no aspect that is talking about a compensation. If you want to ask a question relating to a compensation of farmers in any circumstances or whatsoever.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for the opportunity to ask the agriculture the immediate mitigation measures the ministry is putting in place to support maize and beans farmers in Atebu-Amantin to enable them cultivate these crops before the July-August 2026 cropping season comes to an end, as the farmers did not get market for last year's harvest. Thank you.
Yes, Honorable Minister.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, as part of the Feed Ghana program, government made it a priority to cut down the cost of production to farmers. And the ministry has since begun implementing nationwide gratis input distribution for the 2026 major cropping season. This intervention is to ensure that farmers receive quality product inputs on time to enable them to complete planting within the current cropping season. The increased production recorded in recent seasons, whilst demonstrating the success of government's agricultural interventions, has in some instances resulted in localized market surpluses, reduced farm gate prices, and reduced returns to farmers. Mr. Speaker, the ministry is working closely with the National Food Buffer Stock Company to strengthen the purchases and marketing of locally produced grains as a short-term remedy on reports received on marketing challenges at the beginning of the year by the government. Consequently, the ministry directed NAFCO to intensify the purchase of surplus maize, rice, and soya beans from farmers. With the active support and engagement, particularly from the Bono East Regional Minister, NAFCO has currently deployed and commissioned buyer agents in the Atebu-Amantin district to buy grains from the farmers for the company. Additionally, as part of government's efforts to add value to grains produced, Atebu-Amantin is one of the beneficiary districts where a private partner company is in the process of securing equipment to install, to process and add value to these grains, including maize for export and local consumption in 5 grain production districts. When these facilities are fully installed, it will provide opportunity for mopping up farmers' grains after harvesting in Atebu-Amantin and the 4 other districts. Mr. Speaker, these interventions are expected to cushion farmers against price volatility, improve farm incomes, and restore confidence in the agricultural production. They would also strengthen the government's or the country's strategic food reserves, enhance national food security, and ensure adequate food stocks for emergency situations, including natural disasters, pandemics, and other unforeseen disruptions. The ministry remains committed to working with all stakeholders to ensure that farmers in Atebu-Amantin and across the country receive the necessary production and marketing support to sustain agricultural growth, improve their homes, and contribute to Ghana's food security objectives. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Honourable Member, any supplementary question?
Yes, Mr. Speaker. I want to know from the Minister if the distribution of the inputs has already begun.
Yes, Honourable Minister.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, the distribution of the inputs has begun. We've so far distributed some of the inputs through the district assemblies, and that is currently ongoing. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Any further question?
Yes, please. What was the modality for selecting beneficiaries?
What are the modalities for selecting
beneficiaries of the inputs?
Very well.
Mr. Speaker, the modalities are through cooperatives. And so if we come to Atebu-Amantin, the modalities will be through the cooperatives. So if you have rice growing farmers, if you have tomatoes, if you have maize, if you have beans.
State that, I'm shielding ministers so that immediately we finish, your social media handlers will put out all sorts of videos out there suggesting that the ministers who appear are not capable. The minister is actually begging me to allow him to answer the question. But I'm saying that if we start breaching the rules today, tomorrow we will have to continue breaching the rules. I know of several instances where in this chamber the speaker has insisted that supplementary questions must flow from the original answers given by the minister. So my argument is that there's an allegation made by somebody asking a question. Now you are assuming that that is a fact, and you are now proceeding on that assumption to ask the minister a question. I'm saying that the minister didn't make that statement. He didn't say that, farmers are not getting market for their produce. So why are you asking him a follow-up question on the basis of an assumption that the minister has not, accepted?
Speaker, I am a gentleman. I have no hesitation withdrawing a statement that has turned out to be offensive. So, to the majority leader, unreservedly, a statement of he shielding the minister is withdrawn. But Speaker, I will also further make an application to you, which I did earlier, that you allow the member to reframe or rephrase his question. I'm sure that probably will put clarity to what he was seeking from the minister, and then the question of whether it fits into the orders or not may not arise.
Very well, you can rephrase.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Speaker, the question the Honorable Member asked was the various measures being put in place by the ministry to mitigate the challenges farmers went through in his constituency. And I'm asking the minister whether compensation to farmers who were unable to sell their produce, whether compensation is part of the measures being taken by the government to address those. Yes.
With all due respect, based on Standing Order 89-1, the question is overruled. Yes, Honorable Minister. On this note, we thank you sincerely for attending upon the House to respond to the urgent questions available for you. You are discharged. Yes, Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, we have two commemorative statements.
Ever, you ask a direct, specific question, because this one is talking about measures the ministry is putting in place to support maize and beans farmers in Atebubu, Amantin, to enable them cultivate these crops before the July-August 2026 cropping season comes to an end, as the farmers did not get market for last year's harvest. So it doesn't talk about any issue relating to compensation. You see, the essence is that if there is a question relating to compensation, then the minister can speak to the agencies under him, take the issue, the answers from the agency, and come and brief the House. Supplementary questions are not to take the minister by surprise. So you all agree with me that the issue under consideration hasn't got to do with payment of compensation.
Yeah, with respect, probably I heard and I know he is a senior member of the House, and Speaker, I must commend you for allowing him to speak. But for the benefit of doubt, Speaker, maybe we should listen to him again. He might probably make the point which will fit into the...
Very well.
My worry is the majority leaders coming in to shield the minister.
No, I have not taken it to be shielding the
Yes, we all owe fiduciary to the orders, for the orders to be respected. So but the way he's shielding the minister...
what you are doing, does it mean the member who asked the question is not capable and you are shielding him? You understand? So that is a wrong impression being created. Yes, Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, he ought to withdraw the claim that I'm shielding minister. We all owe fidelity to the rules. And so if you ask a question that doesn't fit into the permissible space that the rule make provision for, I am at liberty to raise an objection. So to
project. From January 2025 up to date, all we've been hearing, press conferences, committees, and today I'm surprised to see the Minister for Interior here. Because in the government's anti-flood task force, the Minister for Interior is not even part. So who is even managing the flood situation in our country? You put a deputy chief of staff with no compelling controlling role and mandate to coordinate two ministers, that of local government and that of works and housing, a deputy chief of staff. The Minister for Interior, in the midst of the crisis, appeared before Parliament and speaking on behalf of a task force that is not even part. Mr. Speaker, I clearly believe that this is the time that we need leadership. Leadership is not a team sport. When you are elected to lead, you lead. This is not the time for settings, PR, bloggers, patrolling left, right, and center because government wants to score political points. We need answers, and we don't need a government that will pretend to be solving a problem, but then just using chopper to mock our misery. And lastly, we don't elect leaders to tell us our problems. We elect leaders to fix our problems. If President Mahama is tired, he can leave the position for somebody who is also ready to lead us to that promised land. Thank you very much.
Thank you. It's now the turn of Dr. Ayu Afriye.
Mr. Speaker, I rise to associate myself with the statement that is being commented on. Mr. Speaker, I think that the germane issues have been tackled, especially so from the minority. The solid argument or presentation from Asenso, a very solid one from the Bosome-Ferron MP, and that of my hometown MP, Samia Uku. Mr. Speaker, I would want to come from a little aspect, which is what has happened, the way forward, and then the health issues. Mr. Speaker, is a country that has no Minister of Environment. And in a previous government, there was a Ministry for Sanitation and Water Resources. Mr. Speaker, currently, I don't know where sanitation issues sit, whether it is with the Community Water Sanitation Agency, or it is with local government, or it is with environment. Mr. Speaker, as of now, it's an environmental issue. It is multi-sectorial, I understand. But the point of health is where I'm coming from with my contribution. Mr. Speaker, flooding and its attendant effects. I wish the Minister of Health was here to also brief us. And that is where some of us are worried about the coordination of your team. It appears so disjointed. And this is an emergency situation. All such persons should have been here. The Minister of Environment is here, but that position appears to be still vacant. You need Minister of Local Government to brief us, Interior to brief us, and Health. The outbreak of cholera, malaria, typhoid, the temporary displacement of people and the consequences in terms of respiratory diseases. Mr. Speaker, are we going to wait for the next week and then we'll come here for another budget, contingency, to take care of them? We need to be briefed. The people of Ghana have to be briefed. It appears we are not prepared. It appears for all this while, this approach again is a knee-jerk one. I don't want to be seen to be blaming anybody because this is one catastrophe that comes on annual basis. Since I graduated from sixth form, I saw a heavy one 1995. Mr. Speaker, probably this will be the heaviest after about 30 years. What's next? I'm not going to blame anybody on my position. But I also think that there were some germane points that were put on the floor. The previous government did something. Where are we? Where are we? Where are we? Where are we? Where is the money? Where is all of this? We want to know where we're going. But then also the citizens. The citizens. Mr. Speaker, I will end on a note just to say that all of us, we have a role to play. All of us, we have a role to play. We have a role to play. In as much as we are putting the pressure on government, in as much as we are putting pressure on government, in as much as we are putting pressure on government, it is their responsibility. It is the responsibility on all of us, the citizens, to press forward the municipalities. Money has been given to the municipalities. According to the Minister of Local Government, that is citizen vigilante. We are supposed to put responsible pressure. We are supposed to put responsible pressure on the local government and the municipalities. The Minister of Local Government is saying that monies has been given to the assemblies, but the monies are not being used. If you go to Alajo is submerged because of blockage and the inability to take away due to poor sanitation. Where is our money? Yes, citizen vigilante. Let's put responsible pressure on the municipalities and the assemblies. It behoves on all of us. A lot of refuse dams have not been cleared in Alajo. In Alajo, I'm citing Alajo. Alajo has been submerged because refuse dams has not been cleared, Mr. Speaker. At this point in time, the Minister of Local Government has confirmed that monies has been given to assemblies and they have not been used. Where are we going as a country? Where are we going as a country? So in conclusion, Mr. Speaker, citizens vigilantism. Citizen vigilantism. Let's put responsible pressure on government. And the assemblies must account for resources given to them. At the tail end, we want the Minister of Health to come and address us.
The rain, and we did all we could, but it came under control at 11:33, almost midnight, and we're able to finally put it off around 2:32 a.m. this morning. Mr. Speaker, we also had fire in Tema, but fortunately, it wasn't. We didn't lose any life. It wasn't also very severe because we were able to deal with it. There was also a newly built 4-floor house that collapsed. Fortunately, at Tabola, fortunately, no life was lost because all the occupants left the building before it collapsed. Mr. Speaker, all these statistics, since yesterday, His Excellency the President of the Republic had to fly over to see the extent of the damage, and this morning, graciously, last night, the President instructed that from their contingency fund, we should be able to access some money. And I'm happy to state, I know the Finance Committee may come and brief the floor and give much details. A total amount of 350 million is being targeted to be used to help in dealing with the challenges that we have. Mr. Speaker, the President has instructed that 200 million will be targeting relief items to this close to over 10,000 households that have been affected across the whole coast. And the 150 will be used to mitigate the flood issues within this, the coastal area. Mr. Speaker, I must admit, when you look at Act 927, that's the National Disaster Management Organization Act, when you look at Section 21 of the Act, it clearly stipulates the Disaster Management Committee. And in the Disaster Management Committee, Mr. Speaker, if you permit me, we have almost all the relevant agencies being there, and it is chaired by the Minister for the Interior. As we speak, a meeting has been called at the presidency involving all these ministers to come so that we put our heads together and make sure that we deal with the issue. Mr. Speaker, if you permit me, Section 21, National Disaster Management Committee. There is established a National Disaster Management Committee. The National Disaster Management Committee is subject to subsection 3, comprises A, the Minister for the Interior as chairperson, Director General, that's for the Director Generals of the NADMO, that's National Disaster Management Committee, the Director General of the Ghana Health Service, Director General of the National Ambulance, the Chief Directors of each of the following ministries: Ministry of Water Resources, Works and Housing, Ministry of Information and Media Relations, Ministry of Local Government and Rural Development, Ministry of Finance, Ministry of Food and Agriculture, Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Regional Integration, Ministry of Environment, Science and Technology and Innovation, Ministry of Gender, Children and Social Protection, the Chief of Defense Staff, the Inspector General of Police, the Chief Fire Officer, the Chairperson of the National Platform for Disaster Risk Reduction, Climate Change Management, one representative of the Consortium of Non-Governmental Organizations, one representative of the Interagency Standing Committee of the United Nations Country Team, one representative of the Ghana Federation of Disabled, and the legal officer of the National Disaster Management Organization as secretary. Mr. Speaker, we are of the view that we don't need to only go there with our chief directors. We want the ministers themselves to be there with the support of their chief directors, so that we give it the necessary attention that it requires. Mr. Speaker, we want to assure this House that these resources that is being extended to this committee will make sure that it is put to the best of use. We have even started the move with the acting defense minister that we should put our 48 engineers regiment in place to use the resources in making sure that all those clearance that needs to be done is done by the 48 engineers, so that we do not have to waste time in going through procurement challenges and all that. So we'll be using our own military to carry out as much as possible all they can be able to do. So, Mr. Speaker, yes, we've lost 12 lives, which is very unfortunate. I want to believe that as a country, we probably have to work very hard to ensure that we minimize these losses. Yesterday, I had the opportunity to speak on one of our prominent media houses, and I said, disasters will always come. It is how prepared you are that will determine the amount of loss that may be occurred. Because, Mr. Speaker, today, and I'm saying it not to water down the effect, but just to draw all of us attention that America is the richest country in the world. And one of its richest states is California. California state is the richest state in America. In fact, standing on its own, is the sixth largest economy in the world. Yet they had disaster and people lost their life. But they have all the money, they have all the measures. We are not using this as an excuse. Water will always come, but we must do what we can as people. And we are looking at this as a whole of government and a whole of society approach. We are looking at it as a whole of government and a whole of society approach, where individuals will have to take their responsibility.
Speaker, who releases money for relief in advance of the occurrence of the problem? You can only relieve people who are in distress. Yesterday, when I issued a statement, or this morning when I issued a statement on behalf of His Excellency the President, I stated clearly that parts of the money will go towards providing relief for the 38,000 people who are displaced. That could not have been known last week or the week before. Again, another 150 million Ghana cedis is programmed to help address problems brought on by the flooding, which can lead to more flooding. So there's nothing wrong with mitigating the impact of further rainfall. And Mr. Speaker, we are not talking about normal rainfall. We are talking about 170 millimeters of rain in a space of 13 hours. Mr. Speaker, the whole of last year, June, only 56 millimeters of rainfall was recorded. The whole month of June last year. This year, in just 13 hours, 2 days ago, 170 millimeters of rain fell. It is an extraordinary situation that could not have been foreseen, and is the reason why the impact appears to be bigger. Mr. Speaker, our colleagues are also rankled that in the past they were held responsible for flooding. If you stay in power for 8 years, you have no excuse than to take responsibility for flooding, a problem that you should have solved within that period. They claim that they committed hundreds of millions of Ghana cedis to addressing it. Mr. Speaker, what was the outcome of that expenditure? How do you spend hundreds of millions of Ghana cedis on resolving a problem only for it to get worse? It means that the money was either not properly utilized or the wrong approach was adopted. So every Ghanaian citizen has the right to carpet you and criticize you for failure after 8 years. Nobody is going to give you a bouquet of flowers. We won't pour gold, frankincense, on myrrh on you for failing within 8 years to address the problem. But President Mahama has agreed that it is his responsibility as president to address this problem, and therefore he is going to take steps, very drastic steps, to address it. We just need to give him our support and a bit of time to address the issue comprehensively as he intends to do. That really is the tone that we should be adopting in this discussion, and not the usual grandstanding that we engage in. Nobody expects that a decades-old problem will be addressed within 1.5 years. It is not a full expectation to have. In light of the resources required.
I think your time is up. Your time is up. It's now the turn of Sami Auku. You have the floor.
Mr. Speaker, Mr. Speaker, let me begin by also commending the makers of the various statements, particularly that of the Honorable Asensi Boache, who has institutional memory about some of the issues that was particularly discussed during his tenure. And my wonderful friend and chairman, Oti Bless. Mr. Speaker, let's be clear on one thing, that under the previous Mahama government, of which my good friend and brother Felix Kwachiofosu was part, on a single night in June 2015, we lost over 150 lives. Single night. Then the Ghanaian people asked them to retire in 2016. They spent 8 years studying what the Akufo-Addo Bawumia government was initiating and implementing gradually. Mr. Speaker, again, they inherited a country where, in fact, President Mahama is one of the luckiest presidents in the world. Your predecessor left a roadmap, completely had gone through a comprehensive review of Accra flooding situation. The Honorable Asensi Boache, in his statement, clearly enumerated the number of projects initiated under the Akufo-Addo administration. Today, the NDC that took pride, solace, and comfort in politicizing every flood situation in Ghana from 2017 to 2024 is today playing the role of John Paul II, our Pope, late, and behaving as if Ghana only started in 2017. Mr. Speaker, behind the statistics we see on TV are human lives being lost. People have lost their livelihoods. Mr. Speaker, somebody might have gone for a 2,000 CD loan. Today, that money is gone. I have seen a wonderful video of my good friend Felix Kwachiofosu during the floods with his staff when they were cheering you on in your jersey, Ghana jersey. People were dying around that time, my brother. Again, Mr. Speaker, when the rain started, I can pardon Felix I can pardon Felix when he's coming from a background of not knowing how this whole reign started. Mr. Speaker, he was in the US maybe when the reign started. But people have lost their livelihoods. Press conferences won't desilt our gutters. Press conferences won't solve the problems of our poor drainage system. In fact, as Asensu stated, the Honorable Asensu Boachi stated, where the NDC used to have their headquarters, before God being so good, they were able to move to a plush area around Adabraka. The Nima Paloma Odona drains. It was under the NPP that we clearly initiated and fixed that issue. We started that of the Buzia N1 highway, the drainage system. South Kaneshi started under the NPP. We, in fact, under the Garrett project, we had secured funding and started the...
And that's 605 households. We had one person missing and then 3 deaths. The Speaker, Gar Central, 1,811 individuals were displaced, 363 households. We didn't have any missing or dead person. Gar West, equally, we didn't lose anybody and nobody got missing. But the number of persons that were displaced were 2,300 and then 460 households. Ablekuma North, 651 displaced, 131 households. No missing or dead person. Ablekuma, Nungo Pram, 1,377 displaced, 276 household. Wejabawe, 2,500 household, 2,500 individuals, 500 household. Gar South, 2,100 displaced, 420 household. Adenta, 1,850, 370 household. Kolekote, 6,500 displaced, amounting to 1,300 households. Okankwe South, 701 displaced, 141 households. Okankwe North, 2,620, and then 524 households. Tema West, we had 690 households displaced with 3,450 individuals displaced. Tema Metropolitan Assembly, we have 721 households displaced, which affected 3,601 individuals. In the case of Tema West, we had 3 persons that lost their life. La Dade Kotopong, we had 404 households displaced, amounting to 2,020 individuals. And lastly, Mr. Speaker, Krowo, we had 220 households displaced and 1,100 individuals displaced without any death. Mr. Speaker, when you put all these numbers together, we have a total of 7,761 households that were displaced, with 38,802 individuals affected, with 7 persons still missing as of this morning, because, Mr. Speaker, I've been at the Finance Committee in the past 3 hours. I've not been able to read my briefs this afternoon. I don't know whether many more have been found, but 7 people as of this morning were displaced, and the total death are 12 individuals that we lost. Mr. Speaker, let me take this opportunity to send our condolences and that of government and the people of Ghana to the families that lost their family members, and we assure them we are with them in this difficult moment. We know many people could not be in their homes and even sleep in their homes, but government is doing whatever it can. Mr. Speaker, with your permission, I'll mention some information from Central Region that also happened last 2 weeks, which I have the details. In Central Region, Mr. Speaker, last 2 weeks, we had 58 houses that collapsed. And for those of us who are very familiar with Central Region and the kind of houses, because of the mud houses, some of them are the bricks, some of the houses were over 100 years old, But these were the districts and how they were affected. Cape Coast Metropolitan Assembly lost 20 houses. Gomoa East, 2 houses. Gomoa West, 1 house. AOB, 2 houses. Aguna East, 7 houses. Gomoa Central, 1 house. Tufu, Ahima Lower Dentra, 6 houses. AAK, 4 houses. Mfansiman, 5 houses. Asin South, 1 house. Asin North, 7 houses. Efutu, 2 houses. And Mr. Speaker, unfortunately, there too we lost 18 individuals as per the report that was sent to me. In Cape Coast, death by building collapse 5, death by drowning 1. Gomoa Central, death by building collapse 1, death by drowning 1. Mfansiman, death by building collapse 2, death by drowning 1. Tufu Ati Monkwa, that's TAM, death by drowning 1. Upper Dentre West, death by drowning 3. Aguna West, death by drowning 1. Upper Dentre East, death by drowning 2. Mr. Speaker, if you permit me, I also have some information from Volta region. Volta region, the number of communities that were affected were in excess of 60 communities. I must admit, based on the information that we have, they were not life-threatening, situation in the case of Volta region. But the districts that were affected were Keta, and it has 7 communities that were affected. Anlo had 6 communities that were affected. Ketu South had 6 communities that were affected. Ketu North had 6 communities that were affected. South Tong had 8 communities that were affected. Akachi had 9 communities that were affected. Gotiman Zokwe had 6 communities that were affected. Adakulo had 2 communities that were affected. Central Tong had 3 communities that were affected. North Tong had 2 communities. Host municipalities had 8 communities that were affected. Mr. Speaker, the same can be said of Western North, where in Samraboy we had a number of communities that were sunk. In fact, we had in excess of over 1,200 persons that were displaced in the Samraboy and its environs. Mr. Speaker, in the nutshell, to say that this was something that was a difficulty for us as a country, I must admit, Your Excellency, Mr. Speaker, if you look at the statistics that we received from the Ghana Meteorological Agency, it clearly states that in the month of June, we normally expect a lot of rains. But what happened yesterday gave us 169.2 millimeters of water. And this is the 4th largest volume of water in a day since 1995. And for the month of June, we had a total in month of June of 593.2 millimeters of water. And Mr. Speaker, is the highest our country has ever received in its history in 1 month, 593.2. The closest was in 2002, and that was 420.6 millimeters. And the other one was 2015, 380.3 millimeters. And these statistics, Mr. Speaker, I'll make it available for the House, are the things that, so it clearly shows that, yes, the human activities, pouring, refuse into our drain, building on waterways, all contributed. But naturally, it clearly shows that even if we had everything right, the kind of rains that we received in June and yesterday will have necessarily created some overflow and created some problem for us. Mr. Speaker, what have been government interventions since we got to know that we were going to run into crisis? Mr. Speaker, you realize that the Minister of Interior gave an alert and advisory to all citizens, especially in and around Accra, to stay home. And we're able to do this very early. Mr. Speaker, we believe that that has contributed largely into minimizing the kind of crisis that we could have had. Because if all persons around that rush hour were in traffic where they could not turn around and other things, and worst case, maybe fire gutted into it, maybe we'll have been counting much losses than we are seeing today. Mr. Speaker, there were a number of fires that also came with yesterday's rain. We have the Odona market that there a lot of makeshift structures were burnt. We also had fire in Tema. We had, Mr. Speaker, with your permission, I want to give some of the statistics that we received. Odona market, yes, the fire came in around 8:08 in the morning, just around the peak of the